Hello, this is Ariadne Rainbird, and today I'm talking about Isidorus' third hymn to Hermouthis-Isis at Hermouthis. Isidorus' third hymn at the temple of Hermouthis-Isis in Hermouthis mixes characteristics of the first two hymns. It is written in a traditional hexametrical rhythm like the first hymn, but is more personal and makes more reference to the local context, though beginning with an invocation to Hermouthis-Isis as a universal queen of the gods. The goddess is praised as a giver of all things good, but this hymn emphasises that her benevolence is bestowed upon those who are pious and who give honour to her. Her benevolence is also mediated through the kings as her worldly representatives, and kings who honour her will live to a ripe old age and have blessed lives and bring their blessings to their descendants and to the people they rule. Hermouthis-Isis acts as a protector of legitimate kingship, which is a particularly Egyptian context where Isis has always had a function as protector of the pharaoh, who is identified with her son Horus. This role of Isis as protector or an idealised divine kingship is not found in prayers to Isis from outside of Egypt. Outside Egypt, Isis is invoked as a universal divine queen herself, but is not concerned with human kingship, and appears this way in Isidorus' first hymn. But in the third hymn, Isidorus refers to an idealised king. He whom the queen holds dearest among kings, this one rules Asia and Europe, bringing peace. The harvests grow heavy for him, with all sorts of good things bearing the best fruit. Isidorus' hymn seems to be invoking a nostalgic image of an idealised divine king, from the time when the Ptolemaic kingdom was far larger than it was in his own time, back to when the first Ptolemies had power in both Europe and Asia. Isidorus then calls on the goddess to hear him, wherever she may be, and lists a number of far-off places, emphasising her domain over many lands and the different directions. In Libya, to the north or to the south, the limits of the north wind, the gusts of the east wind, and also in Olympus, the realm of the gods in Greek tradition, or riding the sun's chariot across the sky. After this, Isidorus brings the focus back to the local environment and the temple itself. And he says, "And if you are also present here, you behold private virtue, delighting in the sacrifices, libations and offerings of the men who dwell in the nome of Suchos, the Arsenites, people of all tribes, who each year are present on the 20th of the month of Pachon, bringing a tithe to you." The goddess's close presence is emphasised, and her judgment not just of kingly virtue, but of private virtue, of those who bring offerings to her at her festivals. During the Ptolemaic and Roman periods, judicial oaths were conducted by officials, and petitions were heard in the forecourts of the temples. And this idea is reflected in the hymn, with the goddess judging the merit of the people at the outermost gates of the temple, as they come with offerings to her. Thus, she is a goddess who is present there and interacts with the people. The hymn concludes with a personal appeal from Isidorus to Isis and the other great gods who dwell with her in the temple, and asks them to send him a healing paean. In a sense, the blessing he asks for mirrors the blessings upon the most beloved king, favoured by the goddess at the beginning of the hymn. Whereas the goddess is addressed as a universal goddess in the first hymn, and the second hymn focuses on a more localised Hermouthis-Isis, at the end of the third hymn, he refers to her only as Isis, emphasising her as a universal goddess who is all things to all people, but yet placed in a specific location where she is immanent to the people. In a moment I will recite the third hymn to Isis Hermouthis, but if you are enjoying this video, please do like the video and subscribe to my channel. Now for Isidorus' third hymn to Isis Hermouthis. O ruler of the highest gods, Hermouthis, Lady, Isis, pure and sacred, mighty of mighty name, Dio. O most hallowed bestower of good things to all men who are righteous, you grant blessings, to possess wealth, a life that is pleasant, as most serene happiness, material gain, good fortune, and happy soundness of understanding. All who live lives of great bliss, the best of men, sceptre-bearing kings, and those who are rulers, if they depend on you, rule until old age, leaving shining and splendid wealth in abundance to their sons and sons' sons, and to men who come after. But the one whom the heavenly Queen has held most dear of princes rules both Asia and Europe, keeping the peace. The harvests grow heavy for him, with all kinds of good things bearing fruit. And where indeed there are wars and slaughter of countless throngs, your strength and godly power annihilates the multitude. But to the few with him it gives courage. Hear me, Agathatike, when I pray to you, lady, whether you have journeyed into Libya or to the south wind, or whether you are dwelling in the outermost regions of the north wind ever sweetly blowing, or whether you dwell in the blasts of the east wind, where are the risings of the sun, or whether you have gone to Olympus, where the Olympian gods dwell, or whether you are in heaven above, a judge with the immortal gods, or whether you have mounted the chariot of the swift-driven sun. You are directing the world of men, looking down on the manifold deeds of the wicked, and gazing down on those of the just. If you are also present here too, you witness men's individual virtue, delighting in the sacrifices, libations, and offerings of the men who dwell in the nome of Suchos, the Arsinoids, men of mixed races, who all yearly are present on the 20th of the month of Pachon and Thoth, bringing a tenth for you, and for Anchios, and Soconopus, most sacred of gods, at your feast. O hearer of prayers, black-robed Isis the merciful, and you, great gods, who share the temple with her, send Paean to me, healer of all ills. Isidorus wrote it.